All right, I guess it's a good time to go ahead and do an update on my Georgia trip, how that affected me with the world of the drinking and the smoking and the doing of the things, the sinning, and yeah, just the update on where my head's at with everything and what's going on. First and foremost, thank you for the love of the comments that people left on the last video. That was a super raw video for me. No cuts, no edits, no funky fancy shit going on. Not that my stuff is like super fancy. It's not that fancy, but even so, I do be getting fancy sometimes. Minus the chair noises, obviously. I need to fix that at some point. So the big thing is, I may have mentioned it before on the last video, I think I did, that going into that house was the first time I've been in that house since my mom passed away. And obviously my dad as well. But I was super, super close to my mom, even though in her later years she was, on a cognitive decline and wasn't really there. But growing up, I was a mama's boy, let's just be honest. So it was a lot to process and unpack. But we've gone through the bulk of it. So driving up to Georgia, I had like really good feelings. I even felt like the good energy of my dad with me as I was getting closer to Georgia. I do think that even despite, as I said before, despite the fact that he was a narcissistic sociopath and really manipulated people and was a really bad dude, in essence, here on the earth, he was still, everybody I think has a little light inside of them. And when we pass, that light is free from the shackles that we have on this earth. Anyhow, it's my belief system that I'm kind of vibing with these days. So yeah, I felt the good energy. But when we went into that house, it changed very quickly and just was so draining. I mean, the first couple nights, we had tears and a lot of drinking, which I know is not the way to cope, but that's what happened. But it was good. It was all good fun. Aside from there was one night that I thought that I had lost my dog, which triggered all of the emotions that were going on, and I was crying like a wreck. I mean, I was, doing the whole thing. But anyhow, I needed to get those tears out, but going through that, I really planned on being in Georgia longer than I was in Georgia for. I wanted to see more friends and family while I was there. Very happy and thankful that I got to see the ones that I did and hug the ones that I hugged. But there are a few that I didn't get to see, and I will get to see those people. If you're watching, you know who you are. On my next trip up, it was just, Georgia just got tainted real fast for me being up there. It was super fun initially, and then just day after day of being in that house and discovering everything that we discovered about the whole scenario with my dad and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get too deep in that, but let's just say the mask was lifted and we got to get a real close look at who he was, and we always knew it, but we got to see it a little more clearly. So it's a lot to unpack emotionally, but I'm through the bulk of it, and I feel good about going forward in the future. Now, that being said, obviously I was doing really, really well before I got this news. I had gone way further than I had gone in the past couple years with not drinking, was getting real clear, and the thing with this clarity, which I know I've touched on a little bit, but the more I lean into like the universe and the energy of the universe in a clear state of mind, the more I start to feel it leaning back and feeling just being connected and seeing the magic of the universe unfold as it should. But now that I'm, a couple weeks into drinking again, it's a good experiment. It's not good. It's not the way to handle the coping. I know that, but it's still a good experiment because I'm noticing when I go on my walks in the morning, now that I'm back in Florida, I'm not feeling as connected as I was leading up to finding out about my dad's passing. And even the first few nights of drinking, like it was okay. Like I still felt connected. I actually remember one night I was drinking in my buddy's bathroom, and he has these like wood things put up on his the wall. And I was drinking and I was taking a piss, and I had my hand like up against the wall, just like leaning and just feeling this wood that he had put up there. I felt like I was part of the universe. Like I felt touching anything was like, man, it was almost like I was doing like ecstasy or something. I don't know. But that being said, the more nights that have passed with drinking, the less I have that clarity, and the less I have the positive attitude about myself and my world, the more the negative emotions try to creep in. And I know that, we all have a little bit of negative in us, like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. We all have some variation of that. But it doesn't mean that I should, be allowing the negative Ned version of myself to just hang out all willy-nilly, Short story long, it's going to take a while to process a lot of this stuff. But the bulk of it is handled and processed. And so now I don't have any reason to hold myself back from regaining that clarity. And the other part of it is, now that I've lost my father, I realized how much of a hold he did have on me. And I think I may have mentioned that in the last video. And it was almost as if I was going through life cowering, and not standing, not standing tall and proud of myself and, the light of the universe that's inside of me, and just being a being on this planet and just being proud of myself and happy with myself. I've just always kind of had like this blanket thrown over my joy by the cloud of him and his disapproval of me. And now that that's gone, I know in my heart that with coupling the freedom of that and the freedom of clarity from not drinking and getting on my path, I feel it's gonna be amazing. So I have to get right back where I'm at. And normally I wouldn't do this video and then say, watch me, I'm not drinking anymore. But I think that it's proven now that, I can do it. I just did it. Yeah, this is tough times, but I'm way more enlightened on my path and the meaning of things than I ever have been before. So I'm confident that I'm good. I had a buddy of mine, a real good friend of mine, actually, who was like, man, maybe lay off the drinking. I'm like, I am. He's like, all right, man. Well, so listen, I did it. I'm going to do it again. So on the note of the clarity and then starting to drink and losing the clarity, when I got to Georgia, the first couple nights of drinking, there was a night that I wrote some notes to myself where I still had the bulk of the clarity with me that I had gained, but had like a little twist of the drinking. Not to make light of this, but, I think I've made my point clear on where I stand on all this, right? Consistent drinking, not good. Sometimes we can't beat ourselves up, but I got to get back on track. We got to stay on track as much as possible. So, and I want that clarity. I want that goodness. But the point is that in that moment, I wrote some notes, and I want to read them to you because I was a tad bit tipsy, but I had the right idea, the right clarity behind that for whatever. So I'm going to read that real quick. The more I lean in, the more I give thanks. The more I have to be thankful for. The more I see, I'm noticing how life is just all energy connected, and how things seem to effortlessly flow together. Perhaps in the past, similar has been happening, but I perceived it as coincidence. But now I realize it's all magic. The magic of the universe. The one truest form of magic. Putting my hands on the wooden wall at Josh's house and feeling the universe. Realizing every last thing I touch is connected to the universe. It's all energy. I need to journal more. The more I believe in myself, the more there is to believe in. I used to be so worried about the outcome of everything that was coming my way, overanalyzing everything. Now I'm just believing. And the more I have faith and believe and trust the process of the universe, the more I notice how seamlessly it all flows together. Journal more. And then I wrote, you are loved, you're doing fine, and you're on the right path. So despite that being notes that were written down when I was a little bit tipsy, I still had a lot of that clarity stacked up from not drinking for 24 days, right? So that was still there with like a little twist of the tipsiness. That being said, my opinion on that, the consistent drinking is still the same. And as I stacked days of drinking, getting tipsy, whatever, the more that clarity started to dissipate and it was tougher to see. And the more the cloudiness of the shit was coming in, right? So it's like this fine line. And I do believe that I can master this fine line and not have a serious issue with alcohol. Obviously, it's bad no matter how you cut it. If you drink, there's negative effects. Some people argue wine, a glass a day, something keeps the doctor away. Or maybe that's an apple, I don't know. But I think that if you were to live completely clean, clean protein, all the micronutrients, water, no coffee, just hot tea, blah, 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 and you're doing all this stuff, yeah, you're going to be the perfect version of health, obviously. But you know what? We gotta indulge. I mean, come on. We gotta indulge a little bit. We just can't overindulge. And I'm just, regurgitating what I'm learning and what I'm feeling from this process. And it's a unique process. And maybe one day I'll go into depths of the mystery that is my family and everything that goes into that. Maybe not. That it's super personal. But anyhow, just understand it's a lot of shit to process. But that's the general update for where I'm at right now. I'm going to get right back on track starting today. I'm super excited to get that clarity back and marry it with being free from the shackles of the narcissist in my life. You know what I mean? Like just free from it, and I'll miss the good energy, but I also have the good energy of my father with me now as well. And of course my mom as well. So this is basically just a quick update, let you know where my head's at. We're going right back to no drinking. Like I said, all is well back in Florida, safe trip, everything's good. We just have to process a whole bunch of shit relative to the estate, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be busy doing that for a while. And I'll do more updates soon. Thanks again for all the comments on the previous video, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks. Love you.
Just you white in me again. Just you white.